All right, everybody, welcome back to the Manufacturing Alliance podcast. This is Chat and Chow, where we do lunch with you and we talk about topics that you want to talk about in manufacturing and the plastic injection industry and everything else. And what we want to do is we want to bring people on that have some experience, life experience, industry experience, manufacturing experience, and honestly, that are good people that we want to talk to, that we think could have good conversation. So, that always happens. How do I not catch that every time? There it is. All right. So I'm Tony DeMakis, and I'm part of Alliance Specialties and Laser Sales, where we are essentially mold builders that don't build molds. And I know that sounds weird, right? But that just means that we specialize in all the things that mold builders don't want to do. So the mold finishing, plastic injection, mold maintenance, hot runner manifold repair, laser welding, laser engraving. And we also make, sell, distribute the only laser welding and laser engraving equipment that's made in America for tool rooms, for repair uses. We do it all here. You can trust us. We want to help you. We want to work with you, and we want to see you succeed. And that's about all you're going to get from me as a sales pitch. This is a time for us to get together, talk, and share some stories. So I'm super excited today because I have a good friend of mine that's coming on. Brenda Clark is the engineering manager at Hasco America. She's also part of our SPE Mold Technologies division. She's been there for quite some time, and she's actually the person that got me involved. She's got over 32 years of experience in the plastics industry, and she's just an awesome person. And so I'm going to bring her on. Brenda, are you there? Can you unmute yourself?
But of course.
Hey, Brenda.
Glad to be here. And thank you for that lovely write up on LinkedIn and putting this out over all those locations. Let's chat.
It's easy when you have good friends. It's easy to write nice things about people when you have nice people to write about.
Really miss being able to be exactly where people are too.
Yeah, it's been a thing, but I think, it's coming back. You and I were just talking about it, how Amerimold is coming at the end of September. We're going to have our golf outing, our fourth annual Alliance golf outing is going to be the day after Amerimold. So if you're going to Amerimold, if you were thinking about going to Amerimold, this is just another reason to go because, you get to hang out with us and go play golf. And we're hoping to make it the biggest event that we've had yet. And hoping that the people that participated at Amerimold will just stay an extra day and come golf with us and use that as the best network opportunity possible. So, we're looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a really good time, and yeah, it's fun.
Yeah. Get back with people and actually start golfing again. That sounds actually like a good thing.
Did you used to be a golfer?
Yep. Unfortunately, the last time I probably golfed, I was pregnant with my oldest, who is getting married in April. So
okay.
It's quite been a while. I'm working. It's important that I work. So
I guess
other things on the weekends to do. I got kids.
if you had more time to golf and less time and you weren't working as much, that would probably be a bad thing, right? There's plenty of people that right now they're tired of all their free time and they want to go back to work.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So why don't you tell us what Hasco is? Tell us who you are.
Okay. I am the engineering manager, like Tony said, with Hasco America. I work over the whole entire U.S. coast to coast, and I also assist engineers in Canada, and I work with engineers that are in Mexico to make sure that North America, we have what everyone needs for their mold build. Similar to Tony, we are a mold plate and component supplier that supplies metric mold plate and components for mold build. So if your mold's built either here in the US or anywhere else in the world and it's metric and it needs a replacement part or it needs parts because it's a new build, we've got them. We have a warehouse here in North Carolina that services all of the US. And we do have over 2 million worth of stock in mold plates and components here in North Carolina for that mold build. Right now, it's very important to stress that, and that's the sales pitch that I'm going to give you. Stock. You need stock. You need to be able to build that mold for that mask. Even still, it's still going on after a year. We're all getting tired of this.
Yeah.
But we need to make these supplies, the test kits, the test tubes. So we're working really closely with Germany to get stuff here, either sea freight, we get that once a month, or even air freighting it in. We work with our air freight service to make sure that it's economical, but to just get those important things here for your mold build and run. Hot runners as well. We have our new temperature controller. So I work actually closely with our customers who need that technical assistance.
Yep.
I really miss being able to go into facilities because I could walk through and pick out things and say, oh, we've got something there that would make your life so much easier.
Yeah.
You know, one was the temperature controllers. I saw somebody and they had an older controller, and like they usually get, there's pieces missing. And what we've got is so much more user friendly. You just switch out a few fuses here or there if you need to, and you're back up and running. You're not going to be missing parts. They don't come off of it. So little things like that. And people are like, wow, my life is so much easier now. So.
Yeah. And those are a couple things just off the top, right? Where, you know, things you mentioned, right? Inventory. We just had a meeting today about our laser welding equipment and everything, about the importance to be able to have inventory in stock, because if somebody wants to buy something, it's because they need it, right? They don't have 8 weeks to wait to get this part or this machine or whatever. And if you don't have it, somebody else does, and they're just going to call that next person. So that inventory is huge. When you need what you need and there's no time, you're going to find it. And, you know, you might as well be one of those people that has it. Yeah. And, you know, the other thing that you mentioned was the temperature controller. And, you know, that would be interesting to hear about. We just did work for a customer, and they were literally holding their controller together with like a rubber band.
No.
And then,
yes,
and then
seeing things like that.
Then wondering why when we bring the manifold back that we repaired, that, you know, the temperatures aren't right or something's running away or whatever. And it's like, you know, you got to invest some money in your technology and your equipment if you want to be able to do a good job for your customers. And, you know, it's one of those things that I think people miss, is the importance of quality equipment in what they're doing.
Yeah, it's not just the molding machine, and it's not just the mold. It's all of the auxiliaries that go along to run that mold. Not only temperature controllers, but the cooling controllers for if you have to heat up oil to go through the mold or whatever. Like Tony said, I've been in the industry for a while now. I started out at a very small company in Connecticut, Accurate Plastic Tooling.
Okay.
And I miss all those guys. I bump into a few people now and then, which is great. But it was such a great place to work because I started by just answering the telephone for them. I was in high school and I learned the ropes. They were like, they needed somebody to polish the inserts for the mold. So I learned, you know, what's critical and line of draw, all these things that they really don't teach anywhere at school unless you're in a specific.
And even then, now they're not teaching it.
They don't cover those things.
So you've been in this industry since high school.
Yes.
That's awesome.
I love this industry. I always joke with people, if you cut me, I bleed steel and plastic, because not only do I design the molds, but I've built them, and I've run them. I've run mold machines. The first mold machine I ran was an Arbor 200 all-rounder with the little relays on it. I mean, I had to make that thing run.
Yep.
24/7, it felt like. But, you know, it's important, and these parts are important, especially now. with the medical and the automotive. You want to keep your
All of them
environment,
are important for something,
right?
right? I mean, I think some people look at plastic and they go, oh, it's a pen, it doesn't matter. But to some people, that pen matters a
Or
lot.
cap.
Yeah, yeah, the caps. I
You
mean,
don't want to get liquid all over your car.
my little Hasco bottle opener for those
Yeah,
hard to open bottles.
yeah.
And every part is important, especially now with COVID, right? And that misunderstanding that plastic is the enemy, but everything that people are using
I
to
think
get through COVID is generally made of plastic. So I just want to say real quick, we've got people watching on Instagram, not Instagram. I'm sorry, that's the only one it's not. LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. And if you have a question or a comment, go ahead and put it in the chat. And we're going to have prizes for people that ask the best questions or have the best comment. So we want your participation. We want you to be part of the conversation with us. So if you hear something that you want to comment on, or you have a question for Brenda or myself, please put that in the chat, and we will ask it and answer it as quickly as possible. I mean, I'm not going to cut Brenda off in the middle of a sentence, but and we got Von Predator says hi from Canada to Brenda.
hello.
I don't know who Vaughn is, but hey, he says hi to you.
That's cool.
So go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't
Like
mean
I
to cut
said,
you off.
I help out North America. I've been to Mexico, I've been to Canada, and
Yeah.
I live in the US, and I work molds. If you've got something in a mold, even if it's not our part, I'll help you find it. I'll tell you it's not ours, but tell you where to go.
And I think
Because that's how you need to work together. We're in this together to make these molds, to produce parts that are either going to save lives or make people's lives easier.
that's it.
So that's
And
that's
I
important.
think that's one of the things that I noticed about you right away, right? So we met at the molding conference in California, I believe.
Yeah.
And, I had my little table next to your little table, and you were there for Hasco and SPE.
Yep.
And you and Renee felt bad for my father and I because we had this giant crate of stuff, and we packed the drill inside the crate.
You couldn't open it.
So we couldn't open the crate. So that's some forward thinking. And then you guys gave us this little Hasco
Multi-tool.
multi-tool thing, and we sat there for 20 minutes trying to unscrew this crate because the hotel didn't have a drill.
But we got it open.
Yeah, we did get it open. Yeah, and we didn't even destroy it.
Yeah.
And what I remember about you guys and the impression I have from Hasco is just that, right? The idea that you want to see people succeed, and that's it, right? Like you weren't concerned about getting something for giving me your little multi-tool or whatever. And you guys are always happy. You got a smile on your face, and you're inviting people in and trying to help them solve those problems. And I think I love that about you and Renee and the whole team over there.
And that's what's great here. Everybody working here, we might be a small facility, but we're lean and mean here, and we accomplish quite a lot for our team, and we all work together. It's the same atmosphere here that you see out there. It's no lie, and it's a family. It's like I mentioned, the first place that I started was the same way. It was a family atmosphere. I miss all those guys. And that's what I was looking for. I had been working in mold design until I raised my two boys. And then I stayed home, and I kind of just lucked out and found out that Hasco was in my backyard. And I got a job, and I was like, oh, this is great. I've always wanted to work on that side of it and be able to help mold designers, because I have worked on their side and I understand their pain. And I know what's important when it's important to answer people. And right now, in this virtual world here, we can even approach people that way. And we've done with Hasco, we've set up designer days, but also on our website, we have learning webinars that you can click on and watch anytime at your convenience as well. But the lunch and learns are very important for our customers, because right now it's hard for us to get in their doors. People are hunkered down. If they're at their facilities, they're very protective, which is good, and they should be that way. We're the same way here, just so that we can ensure that we can get our product out the door to them so they
Right.
can stay working. But how have you seen it? I mean, this virtual stuff, the attendance, I think, on stuff is going down because there's just such an influx of it that it's so difficult for people. They get tired of watching these things.
I think there's a little bit of a overload on virtual, and here I am trying to do a virtual thing and trying to get people engaged. But I do understand that, sometimes I think some people are just tired of it, right? And they want to see people again and be able to, engage face to face. And I think this is a way to do face to face when you're stuck, and it's the best option. But I can't wait for the next phase of whatever this is that we're going through. But what I think is awesome is the leaps and bounds that the industry and technology has taken to be able to do that, right? Before COVID, we never had virtual meetings. We never thought about putting in a video conference system so that we could talk to potential customers or do things like that. But then this happened, and it jump started us to that next level of technology and ability.
We
And I
we
mean, it's
were
been awesome since
Yeah,
then.
we were lucky on those regards because we have that distance between Germany and here.
Yeah.
We're already geared up for a lot of that. We've done that for years to make communications easy. And it's very important that we continued with that. So we just kind of stretched it in and morphed it to what it is now.
Yeah.
So, like I said, our designer days, some of the states are open and our reps are able to go into corporations. They go in and they stream me in.
Yep.
So it's kind of like some of the trade shows we're trying to do morphed things. We've done that. So luckily, we've always been a step ahead of what's going on so that we can stay alive and keep our customers supplied and the molds getting built and molds running,
Yeah.
which is important.
So
I'm
I
going to
want
keep
to
stressing that.
I want to jump back to what you said that that you've been in the industry since you were in high school.
Yes.
I'm guessing that's 16-ish.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. I was taking drafting in high school and I wasn't like a superstar drafter or anything. In fact, my boyfriend was at that time. And the instructor was given a employment notice. Well, my boyfriend had a job, but the instructor was adamant about him taking the job. So he took it. And I'm sitting in my chair going, and he just totally looked over me and gave it to my boyfriend. Well, we're walking out of the class, and I turned around and I gave him a really dirty look. And I said,
Your boyfriend or the instructor?
my boyfriend.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
and he said, "What? I got it for you." And it was so sweet. But that started the whole thing. I went to the interview, and the rest is history. I got hired. They wanted somebody to answer the phones, but also do drafting. So I learned mold design from them. And not only mold design, but they had me turning handles on lathes and Bridgeports, running that molding machine. You name it. I did it. Polishing, mold polishing. It was the best education that a designer could ever want and
Sure.
have. So I hear so many of the other customers saying, we just can't find people. Well, look in your high schools. Tell somebody you just want somebody to answer the phones or whatever. It can start with that, and you do have to groom them. But you know what? At high school level, if it's somebody who's really going to be interested in it, they'll work hard and they may stick around like I did. I worked
Yeah.
with that company for 10 years.
And
And
I think what's interesting is, you said that the instructor overlooked you and gave the paperwork to your boyfriend. Now,
Yeah.
is that just because he had more skill than you, or was it because at that time it was like girls don't do this?
No, it was probably he had more skill, but the instructor had no clue about him. He had no drive at all. I don't even think he has a job anymore.
I'm
Uh,
guessing that this is not you didn't marry your high school
no,
sweetheart.
no. That's all water under the bridge. No, no, my husband is a manufacturing engineer working in the nuclear industry. He's
Oh
very
wow.
brilliant. So we had, and I had, like I said, I had two boys, and one is going to be he's in the civil engineer. He's got his degree. And the other one just actually tonight starts his first production packing, working off of a molding machine at Jayville
Okay.
here. So I'm really excited that he's getting into my industry. He did not want to do it at all. And
Why?
he figured it was dirty and too much work and not worth it. And he's changing his mind. He really was impressed. Because he'll be working in a clean room for medical stuff.
Okay.
So that's what's important. And it really doesn't matter whether you're male or female. It's your intelligence and your drive.
Yeah.
And the instructor knew that because very early on in drafting, since I was the only girl in there, he brought up the fact that he had another young lady who actually designed the first octagon house in New England. And he always bragged about her. This is what she did and everything. And I said, cool, I can do something. And didn't know it was going to be mold design. I had no clue at that time.
Yeah. I find it interesting and awesome at the same time, right? Because there's this push now to get young girls into STEM or women into manufacturing. And I'm a guy, right? So I don't know. What do you feel like there was a barrier before, or is it just what is it?
I think it's just the fact that in the earlier grades, the teachers don't have a clue about our industry.
Yeah.
So they don't know if they see a child who's mechanically inclined, be it a boy or a girl, they don't know how to groom them into that unless the child in middle school or high school falls into drafting. That's really the only way to get into it other than, auto mechanics. But even high schools, they've lost all those programs. They've
Right.
changed the way that they're putting stuff out. We have a local STEM school here, which is doing leaps and bounds to supply manufacturing, which is great now.
Yeah.
Why can't the regular public high schools do the same thing?
I think it's
I was lucky because I grew up in an area where there was Pratt and Whitney. So Pratt and Whitney actually supplied a lot of income to a lot of the corporations around there to push people into drafting and engineering and chemistry and
yeah.
all those aspects, not just general ed.
Yeah. And I think there's a new move for it. I just met with a guy named Gaylord who runs a program at McHenry High School and McHenry County College to get kids involved in welding and machining. And he said he's got, I think he said 160 kids
Right.
this semester. He's got 6 different classes. He's done this before. They do huge projects. They used to do like the moon rover races and things like that. And then he takes those kids and he helps them get jobs with the businesses that are part of his program. He helps them get placed into different organizations because now he knows manufacturers and he knows kids and he understands that there's a need for it.
Right.
And
We
I think
need more teachers
we need,
like that.
well, not only more teachers like that, we need more schools to embrace it, but we also need parents to accept
Parents,
it.
that's what I was going to say. The next thing, it's not just the schools, the parents. When you if you have an industry that you're working in, you know you're going to have children that have the same mentality,
Yeah.
hopefully, and may have that same drive. That's why I'm so excited about my youngest, because he didn't want to get into manufacturing because he grew up right when manufacturing was taking a nosedive.
Sure.
So we kept telling him, well, go into medical, go be a doctor, be a lawyer, do something, you know. He's so brilliant. That scares me that he's going to be bored to death. But at least he's taken a step to get in there. I brought him to Arburg.
Yeah.
We were doing a mold for NPE, I believe it was. And we had to go visit, and I was visiting my family up there. It was a business trip, but it was more for seeing my family. But I went and did a side note and brought him in and showed him the machine and the facility. You could eat off the floor. It was so clean in there. But the
Yeah.
mold was running, and it had the whole packaging thing where it was making one part, and then it had the robot come out and pick it up and put it over and then move it to the next area. And so he could see so much. And I told him, I said, see, you could program the robot. You could do, there's so many things that you can do in
And
it.
I think people forget, and Vaughn commented on here. He said he completely agrees that technical trades are where it's at. And here in QC, I'm guessing that's Quebec. I don't know my Canadian province things. He says we have trade schools that were there before COVID, but they were almost empty, and we have to focus on this. The USA and Canada need to become manufacturers again. 100% agree.
Yes.
We can't rely on things from other parts of the world, right?
Right.
You don't
And
have to, you don't even have to
parents
say
need to
what
push
parts of the
their
world.
kids,
What's
right?
that?
Parents need to push the children to know that it's out there. When I walked in and told my father where I was going to be working, he says, "Oh yeah, I know about all that." He had never mentioned anything growing up about it at all. My grandfather was tool and die maker. His family actually made lathes in Ohio,
Okay.
Bardens and Oliver lathes. He was part of that. He died before I was born, so I never knew him. One of my uncles showed me a drawing of the front of a missile and the lettering on it, because this was back before computers,
Yeah. Yeah.
and you would actually have to write out all the letters. The lettering was exactly how I lettered. It was scary. But I looked at it, and that really cemented it in on me and said, no, this is part of my history.
Yeah.
This is what I can do. I understand this. And be very mechanically inclined help. If you have a child, it doesn't matter whether it's male or female. If you have a child who's mechanically inclined, please get them into manufacturing. It's
Yes.
really important. We need them to
And
keep this country alive, to keep the world going.
and listen, I went to college. I'm not anti-college. That's
No, I
that's
did
not a
too.
thing, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's people that are, but I also understand that college is not for everybody.
Mhm.
I went to college, and I will say over and over again, and people that are listening will hear this story over and over again. The only thing I got out of college was my wife. That's it. And learning how to do things on my own, whether that's doing the laundry or making sure I get up to go to class and going to the classes that I don't want to go to, and those kinds of things. But it's not like it made my career. I didn't go to school for this. And all the softwares that I learned, they're all outdated now, and they've all been changed multiple times. It was more about critical thinking and things like that helped me along the way. But those sorts of things I learned in life,
Right.
and just
And
the
and
next challenge.
the best thing for our manufacturing industry with mold design and mold build is to get an internship, but also to get at least an associate's degree, not necessarily a bachelor's. When I got my associate's degree, and now that my son has his bachelor's, I look at the education that he went through and what I went through
Yeah.
as a bachelor's, the same course. I just didn't have the frou-frou, like you said, the course that you really don't want to have to go to because
Yeah.
you're useless.
Like I had
That's
to take
what a
oceanography.
4-year degree is going to do for you.
I went to school for graphic design and marketing, and I had to take oceanography. Why did I have to take oceanography?
Yes.
I mean, I was never going to be an oceanographer.
They want you to be well-rounded, and they want your parents to pay for everything, or
Well, there's
you
that.
to pay for everything. So, but we digress. It is important though to have an education behind and back up. Another thing that we haven't touched on is the associations.
Absolutely.
The Society of Plastics Engineers is very important. They have so many resources that students can use as well as um, seasoned professionals. There's resources and it's very small amount of membership money. Hey, I could talk Tony into it. I can talk anybody into it. It's important to support your industry, be it SPE or the plastics industry, as well as AMBA. There's so many. We're members in every
But
aspect that we need to be.
but I'll add on to that, Brenda, right? It's the money is great, right? Like it's great to support your associations financially, but if all you're going to do is sign up and you're not going to get involved, you're not going to participate, you're not going to apply to be on a board, you're not going to promote the events, you're not going to attend networking dinners or anything like that, I am going to tell you right now, you're going to get nothing out of it. And it's going to be a waste of money and you're not going to appreciate it. But on the flip side, right? So when I was growing up, I was in Boy Scout camp and I'm flipping around, but that's what I do.
Yeah.
And so we had all the scouts on one side and all the leaders on the other side, and we were going to play tug of war. And the leaders should have destroyed us. There were more of them. They were adults and we were, junior high school kids. And they kept chanting, "Nothing great is ever achieved without enthusiasm," over and over again. And it was super loud and we were pulling and we were at a standstill. And then eventually the rope broke and it was that thick tug of war rope. And it imprinted on my brain. Like, I don't know if they cut that rope ahead of time, but it imprinted in my brain how awesome it is to go into things with enthusiasm and how, that's where big things happen. That's where strides are made. That's where you have impacts. It's not from doing nothing, right? It's not from just showing up at the camp and standing there and watching everybody else participate and wondering why your experience sucked.
Right. And when you're on that rope and you're all working together and you see it moving in your direction, it just helps you to keep moving in the right direction.
Yeah.
Working together.
Right. Yeah. And that's where those big things happen. These industries, I've only been in the industry for 4 years and change. But every person I've met has been welcoming and trying to help me grow and learn, not put up barriers. Mm-hmm. And it's a very competitive industry too, right? And, people want to get ahead, but at the same point, they want us all to move ahead together, which is something that's so awesome. And that doesn't happen unless people participate and go to these things.
Right. And it's a tight-knit community. You should be in life anyways, honest, true, and do the best that you can.
Right.
If you do those things, you'll survive and you'll do wonders. But people see that, and then that's where they are going to constantly be asking, well, can you help with this board? Can you help on this board? So you have to kind of watch it that you don't get burnt out too fast, too. Work on the boards that mean the most to you and help out, because like you said, they need volunteers. They need people to do things. And sometimes it's just easy to set up a meeting so that everybody can talk together now. But get into those network meetings where You can do those lunch and learns. You can do those meeting with other people in the industry. They've got the same issues that you do. Maybe they figured it out how to fix something a lot faster. You can share things so that it makes all of our lives easier and we can all work together.
And I really like that, I know the AMBA has done a really good job of it, right? Like they have their online forums for marketing and for sales and for all the different departments. They did a great job during COVID trying to figure out what everybody was doing. And it was such a good resource where you didn't have to feel like you were going through the things by yourself. That you had other businesses that they're going through the exact same challenges you are, right? And the same headaches, and you can share with them what's working for you and even what's not. And I think what's the most important thing is people not bragging about how great they are,
Yeah,
but being vulnerable and letting people into the weaknesses that they have and the struggles
yeah,
that
we
they
had
have.
this problem and how did we fix it?
Right, because
You can pull in somebody from way out in left field and they fixed it. Well, not everybody knows about that left field because it's not part of our network. Bring them in and
and
then let
most
everybody.
problems are not unique to you. Somebody else has gone through what you've already gone through. But unless you are willing to open up, be vulnerable, and ask those questions like, hey, I'm struggling with this. How do I get through it? What did you guys do? You're successful in this area. What can we do? That's where those relationships are built. That's what makes the difference between, the plastics industry, in my opinion, and other things, is that level of sharing and information and not being so stuck and worried about me.
Mhm.
And even with the SPE, you and I are on the mold technologies division together, which is awesome. Thank you for doing that. That makes my life easier and I get to talk to you again. And then we're also on Lindsay's board
Plastics industry, yeah.
for membership, right?
Yep.
And what's cool that they're doing, and you'll see the videos that we're putting together, is yeah, I haven't done mine yet either. Sorry, Linz. Uh, is they're putting together videos with speaking points about different aspects of the SPE and why people should get involved.
Yes.
And mine is technical data and technical knowledge. Well, listen, I don't have it. I'm not the technical data guy, but that's why I think that's a perfect video for me. And here's the small part of it. Like, you don't even have to go back and watch it. Why is it important to me? Because I don't know anything, and I'll be the first one to admit it. But what I do know is through the SPE, I'm surrounded by people with 30 plus years of knowledge all over the place that I can reach out to for any problem, question, or issue that I'm having. And they're going to give me that answer. So I don't need to have
And
30 years
the other
of
side,
tribal
yeah, the
information.
other side of that also is some of those people who've got 30, 40 years, they might not have ever been asked that question and they have that answer. So it makes them think, hey, people are questioning. So we need to work on this and get
Right.
it.
Right.
So we, as seasoned um, people in the plastics industry, it's important to us to hear from new people because we could keep going down the same garden path all the time. It's good for newer people to shine the light in our eyes so that we say, oh, okay, no, yeah, we used to do it this way, but this is a better way. Or we work together and find a better solution because
Yeah.
maybe our older way of doing something has changed now because technology out there is a little better and work together to always make it better in the end.
Yeah. And I think as
That's what's great about associations in general and that networking because you have the seasoned professionals as well as students and newer younger professionals together working, and that's when we met. And I knew immediately, I was like, oh, he'd be great on our board. Bring him in, he's got fresh energy and keep it going. And because I knew I wasn't going to be on the board forever, and even though I am, but which I love working on it. But it's good to get the new people involved and have them take ownership, and they can teach us as well.
absolutely. And it's funny because I told my father that I was the chair of that board, and he was like, why are you don't know anything. What could you possibly do for them that you don't know anything? They couldn't find anybody else. And I thought,
No.
well, it's not about having all the answers. I don't need to have all the answers about that. All we have to all they're asking me to do is have some energy and be part of that group
Hold
and
the team
make sure
together.
that we're moving in a direction that everybody's on board for.
Yeah.
And that's key. That's the thing is injecting a new sense of life and maybe something that has gotten stagnant, right? It's not that it doesn't serve a purpose anymore.
But
It's just
you're
that
learning
sometimes
too.
purposes change.
But you're learning too.
I am learning. I'm
You
learning a lot.
learn
Uh,
from us. Yeah.
I'm learning a lot of things, and it's great. Rich Thiel says you gotta love dads. Of course you gotta love dads,
Yeah.
man. I mean, you gotta love good dads. I mean, I guess you should love all dads, but you gotta love good dads. Those dads that they love you no matter what, but they also speak truth into you, and keep you
And you're
humble.
so lucky you get to work with yours. I mean,
I know.
know, that's why I wish my grandfather had been around. I would love to have worked with him. He worked with Sikorsky.
Okay.
Sikorsky would fly over the house, tip his hat in his ultralight, and my grandfather knew that was time to go in and work. So it's little parts of the industry like that still go on,
Yeah.
and those stories are great. And even though you're working on a board, there's stories like that come up on the board, because we're all people, we're all families, and we all take care of each other too, you know especially in this time, with the
And
virtual. It's important to reach out to the seasoned, and I'm going to do a thing here, the pioneers, the plastics pioneers. It's a very important group that helps support um, scholarships, as well as the Plastivian and NPE.
yeah.
It's nice. I love being with that group, and in the history of plastics alive. There's a library in Syracuse University that's full.
Stream. Um, we're having a small glitch. So if you're watching, we're still talking, but hopefully it comes back. And if it doesn't, they can watch it later.
Yeah.
I think what's important too is, there are people that feel like they don't have time, right? And they don't want to be part of a board because it can be very demanding on your time. I mean, let's be honest. It's
You do
not
have to
just,
take a couple hours every once in a while and do stuff. Yeah.
yeah, it can be demanding.
Mhm.
And so if you're one of those people that feels like I can't be on a board because I don't have the time to do it or whatever, that's fine. That doesn't mean you can't engage.
Mhm.
So, the SPE has a great forum, a great network where you can ask questions. You can be part of that. You can pop on every once in a while and just either ask questions or answer questions and get that information. As a member and in charge of the mold technologies division, we are constantly asking people that are part of that division, not just on the board, what do you want from us? What can we do differently from you? What are you craving? What kind of information do you need? Is it about leadership? Is it about mentorship? Is it technical data? What is it? We want to serve the people that are coming to us for information, but the only way to do that is get information from them first. And I think that's critical, right? We need to get people to engage in whatever way that is, so that we can do that, so that we can continue to grow, so that we can continue to get better.
Yeah,
So
what's SPE saying? Inspiring professionals.
yeah. So even if you're one of those people that doesn't have time, you go, listen, I don't want to be on a board. I hate Robert's rules. That's me. I hate Robert's
Oh,
rules.
yeah, same
I
here.
don't like Robert's rules. I don't know Robert. I don't like your rules. I think they're boring. I understand that they have a
At
purpose,
this
but I'm not
meeting,
good at them.
let's make the meeting work and just get it done.
Yeah. That's why I love Scott Peters. Scott Peters is really good at Robert's rules, and he makes sure that I follow the rules and don't get in trouble. So thank you, Scott, for
Yeah.
always doing that. But just because you're not one of the main voices doesn't mean you don't have a voice. So, share those things. We're on LinkedIn. I mean, there's stuff on Facebook. There's stuff everywhere where you can engage with the communities and grow from that. Hey, Jay joined us on LinkedIn. Jay says, once the pandemic is over, what is the number one thing you guys and gals want to do? Are you asking me specifically, Jay? Or are you asking people as a whole?
I think he's asking everybody. We all want to know what are we gonna do?
I know what I want to do. Listen, if you would tell me that North Carolina is open for visiting, I'm there tomorrow. You know what I mean?
I'm
Like,
going to the beach.
yeah,
I
yeah,
just I going to the beach.
yeah.
I haven't been to the beach in 3 years, and I need the beach.
I mean, you can go to the beach. It's the sun. You're outside. Go to the beach.
It's getting there. Well, yeah, I know, but my husband had 7 bypasses. He's a medical miracle, but since he is, we have to protect him. So I can't travel until we get the vaccine. Then we're going to the beach.
Got it. Got it. I'm just gonna leave the vaccine thing alone because that's too political. I don't want to get down that rabbit.
Yeah, I know. We won't go
I
there.
don't want to go down that rabbit hole. It is what it is.
I want the world to open back up.
Yeah, Tony from Mass Tip is watching on LinkedIn, and he thinks that he's laughing about our Robert's Rules comments. Listen, I don't think anybody likes Robert's Rules.
People who know how to use them.
I don't think they even like them because they're frustrated with the people that don't.
Yeah, I learned all about them when I was chair. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I just let Scott know them. I don't want to learn them. I don't need to know everything. I need to surround myself with good people who do.
yes, that's a sign of a good leader.
That will hold me accountable. So Mary Kate, who works with us in our marketing department, she says, Brenda, other than entering the industry and being overlooked by your teacher, what, if any, other obstacles have you faced as a female in the industry?
I've been very blessed, and I haven't had very many large obstacles. There's been obstacles, but I always was able to turn it around. And I maybe it was just prayer in general. Tony knows I'm very religious, um, but I've been very blessed with good people to work with. It's a tight industry that we know. Um, it's important, like I said, to be honest, truthful, and do the best that you can. Admit if you make a mistake, because if you're not making mistakes, you're not working. And if you don't admit that you made a mistake, you're not going to correct it. And making mistakes also makes you stronger.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking huge mistakes. I mean, you still have to be knowledgeable and make sure that you have the best education that you can. Continued education is very important. Even though I have my degree, I still go back occasionally. Like Tony said, softwares get out of date, things change. It's important to keep doing that, even as a seasoned professional. But I think one of the best benefits was I've always looked at it like, not because I'm a female, it's because I'm mechanically inclined and I'm competent and I know what I know. So there haven't been huge obstacles, and people have tried to put obstacles in my way. But since I know what I'm talking about, I can answer their questions, and then it just really turns it all around. And they say, oh, she does know what I'm talking about. She's been in this industry for a while. Maybe she can help. Maybe she can make this better. And I've never actually put forward that, yes, I'm a female, so be uncomfortable around me. I don't like that. I don't like that for me. Why would I do that for you? And those are the important things. Go in, know what you're doing for your job, do your job, and the rest will fall in place.
Yeah.
If there is an issue, you report to a higher up, or you make sure somebody knows that something wasn't done right. Luckily, I've been blessed and not have had to worry about that.
And I think I think you said a lot of important things there, but some of them were like, be prepared, know what you're talking about, know your industry,
Mhm.
know your products, and
If you
make
don't know, learn.
right,
Find someone in the team who can help you build up your confidence if you need to do that. Mentorship is very important. That's another thing I wanted to reach on was within these associations, a lot of them have mentorship. With
right,
the plastics industry, they have the flip. Get into that, get involved in that. They'll match you up with a seasoned professional, male or female, and mix it up because you can always learn more from mentorship. There's people out there who want to help you succeed.
yeah. I I mean, all true,
Yeah.
all of it's true. Um, we are coming up close to an hour.
Oh,
Which listen, it's awesome. It feels like it's 15 minutes, but that's
yeah.
because I love talking to you. Um, and just, like I rave about you forever. Um, it's funny because I'm gonna spill the beans and see if
Okay.
anybody from the membership committee is watching. We'll find out at some point. But you were late, and we were like, "Oh, right, we can talk bad about Brenda. She's late," and we were like, "We got nothing. The only thing bad we can say about Brenda, she's not here yet. That's
Yeah,
no fun."
good. But I
There
did
was
stop
nothing.
saying it and I apologize because it was working. I had to help a customer. I was
Listen,
actually
customers
working
come
on
before volunteers.
SolidWorks. I was working on SolidWorks. I got involved in it. I was having fun doing what I used to do. And
Yeah,
it's very rare I get to do that. And I ran out of time and I went, oh my goodness. I'm like 20 minutes late. But it was important. I was working on a customer's problem.
that's key. I mean, that's why that's
Yeah.
probably that's
And,
the
and that's what
majority of what
you
we're
can
doing.
do. Right. That's what you can do when you're volunteering. It's flexible. You're volunteering. It's not like they're going to shoot you or fire you.
No,
If you don't do your job, your main job should be what you do. In
absolutely.
every volunteering thing that I've been in, they stress that. As long as you show up when you can and do
Right,
help out, that's all they want.
right.
So it's flexible. Volunteering is good and it's healthy. It's good networking. You can get good resources, and it is important. Like Tony said, don't just sign up and be a member of something. Help out. You can learn so much, and you can actually get really good relationships built from that
Yeah.
go on for years,
And it's not just about reading the newsletter that we put out
which
quarterly,
is
which
good to do
it
that.
is really good. John does a great job. John Berg, I love you. You do a great job on the newsletter. You put a lot of good data in there.
Yep.
And it's great. But there's so much more to it. I know that the Society of Plastics Engineers Mold Technology Division is a lot. SPEMTD has a LinkedIn page. You can go there. You can ask questions, and everybody on the board for that is it will get notified if there's a question there, and somebody will come on and answer your question. Challenge us. I dare you to challenge us. Ask a question and see if we'll answer it, and see how many answers you do get. So all the people watching, at the end of our show, we always do a quick prayer. So if you have any prayer requests, go ahead and put that in the chat, and I'll ask Brenda. Brenda, do you have any prayers for or requests for us today?
Just our nation and everyone who's possibly sick and hurting from this COVID to be with those families.
Yeah, those are both important. So while we're gonna give people a quick second to put anything in there, if they do, I don't know. Nobody ever does. Nobody ever puts prayer requests in there. I don't know. Maybe they don't want to share. But just a couple quick notes. We've got a lot of shows coming up. Tina Zwolinski is next week on Wednesday, talking about Skills Gap. It's a company that she has, and what she's doing to help fill that skills gap that we were talking about, right? Which is so important. If you listen, I don't know how else to say it. If you know somebody that doesn't know what they want to do with their lives. Maybe they don't love school. Maybe it's just okay, but they like working with their hands and they don't want to change oil and they don't want to do those things. You know, every company is looking for people that want to work.
They're hiring. Yeah.
Every manufacturing company I know is hiring. Nobody is saying we're not hiring. Everybody is looking. There are opportunities out there if you want to work. Um, you can pretty much go to any industrial park without experience, fill out some applications, and I'm willing to bet that you'll have a job within a couple weeks. People want to hire good people that and now more than ever, people understand that they have to train, right? That skilled labor is a difficult thing to find. So if you want those people, you got to train them. It's just like a sports team. You can only go on the free agent market and hire and bring on so many veterans who have been to the Pro Bowl. At some point, you got to draft well and you have to train your talent and you have to build them up as part of your organization.
Yeah, that's where I looked out the first corporation that I worked at, found out that I was going to college and paid a percentage based on my grades. So of
Mm.
course I got A's and everything because I didn't want to have to pay for college.
Why does it not surprise me that you got A's?
it, it was hard, but I did it because I also worked at the same time.
Yeah.
I was going through college and also working 8 hours a day, maybe 10.
Yeah.
So it was tough, but they can do it and get your employees in and train them. Help them with the local community college.
Yeah.
Be thankful and they'll stay around. They're not, yeah, you might lose. There might be some attrition, but the majority of it, if you get that good person, they're going to be thankful. They're going to stay around, treat them well, they'll treat you well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I'm gonna go back to our schedule real quick. We've got Michael Gukas coming on March 17th from Gardner Business Media. He wants to kind of talk about that same thing, right? We're going to talk about things like how to pass the tribal knowledge down and what the responsibility is to people that are in the industry in their late 30s, 40s, 50s, and beyond, and how to get the next generation interested and excited, not just to have a job, but to want to make it more than a job and do more. And actually, we're gonna dive into some other stuff, some more life application as well, which is really good. I'm excited for it. And then March 24th, David Masato on our board is he's the assistant professor in the Department of Plastics Engineering at University of Lowell of Massachusetts. So I'm sure we're going to talk about what's going on at school and what they're teaching and what he's seeing from people that are just coming into the industry, and what challenges and hurdles he's got and how things are changing and developing.
And that's another thing that Hasco does that I love. We work with a lot of universities and community colleges, even within the U.S. as well as worldwide, because it's important that that knowledge and he's trying to build molds. Well, he needs mold plates and components. We work with them. We get them what they need, the tools they need, so they can survive and move on. So you corporations out there, you help that way too. It's very important when you can make those donations.
And then at the end of the month, Mercedes Landazuri, she's got the most difficult name, Mercedes. If you don't know who Mercedes is, just you'll find her. She's a redhead on LinkedIn and Instagram and Chicks with Lindsay. She's awesome, and I love her personality and what she's trying to do. I like her WTF manufacturing shorts that she's doing on Instagram, where she's just explaining different processes in a way that people are going to understand, because people don't understand what we do. And it's sad that at this day and age, people don't know what we do, and they should.
You see a plastic part, you gotta wonder how the heck is it made? But it's like I said, nobody tells anybody about it.
Yeah.
Out of our industry, you need to reach out to people.
Yeah. Richard Owens.
When I was flying, that's what I do.
Yeah. Richard Evans from Reaction Plastics just jumped on and says, hello to Brenda. Always a pleasure Pleasure working with you. So happy to see so much emphasis on apprentice programs. I'm a firm believer and product of one myself. Hopefully, people stop seeing our industry as a fallback to those who can't afford college.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Shout out. Hey. Yeah.
Yeah. I think Richard just earned himself a prize. I'm not sure what that prize is yet, but
That's, yeah. That's
he got himself a prize. I think we got prizes for Vaughn. I got to figure out how to get a hold of you, Vaughn. I'm not really sure who you are or where you work, but I'll put something in the chat so that you can reach out afterwards, or just send me an email to Tony@alliancelasersales.com, and we'll get that prize out to you right away. But yeah, Tony from Mass Tip, he says, thank you so much, Brenda and Tony. This time is always a blessing to me. Dude, I appreciate that. You know, it's a blessing to me too. It's a weird thing to think that we kind of started this as a way to just connect with people in COVID. And, you know,
it's still going.
I'm not going to tell you that we got 1 million people watching this, because that would be a lie. But, you know, to the handful that do see it and watch it, I hope you smile a little bit. I hope you get a little nugget of information, and I hope you pass it on to somebody else, because this hour or so of time together, our goal is to make you smile and give you a little bit of information. It's positivity, it's optimism, and it's just the reality of what life is. You know, Brenda, you
And
said it
to
back.
know that you're not out there alone, that we're there too, and we're all going through the same thing, and we can do it together.
Vaughn says the prize better not be a set of Robert's rules. But I think, Brenda, you said it best earlier when Mary Kate was asking about obstacles, right? And I think
Look
obstacles
over them.
obstacles are opportunities, right? And so, you know, COVID is an obstacle to all of us, but it's also an opportunity, right? You know, our little chat and chow stuff, it was an opportunity for me to talk with my friends in a way that I wasn't doing on a regular basis. And
You do
so,
lunch virtually.
yeah, at the end of the day, if nobody listens to this or watches it, I'm glad some people did. Vaughn, Richard, Tony, Lorena, my father even said good job, so that's nice. My wife gave me a little bit of a hard time about the oceanography thing, but you know, even if nobody watches it, it's an opportunity for me to talk with you that I wouldn't have done on a regular basis anyways. So it's good to see you and be able to talk and share some of these things and hear the stories that you have that I haven't heard before. So
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, no problem. It was good.
So I'm gonna pray for us real quick. Only Lorena said no more snow. That was her prayer.
Yeah, that's a good one.
But it's a good one, unless you're the plow people, right? Because there's that obstacle opportunity thing. The plow people want more snow.
No, the plow people have other jobs they can do. I know quite a few down here, and they have other jobs they can do.
Well, I hope so. I wouldn't imagine there's a huge market for plows in North Carolina.
Yeah, where we are, we're in Western North Carolina, so it's the mountains, the Appalachians.
Okay.
So
All right. Yeah.
Yeah. And we don't have enough plows, so yeah.
More opportunity. Somebody better buy a plow truck.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Let's pray real quick. Not real quick. Not that it's something to gloss over, but
pray.
Yeah. Heavenly Father, thank you for this time together. Thank you for Brenda. Thank you for her leadership, for her inspiration to others, and for her ability to make the best of situations that she's in. I pray that people watching this would see that they would be inspired by her, and that they would use that as an opportunity to grow themselves. We thank you for everything that you put us through, whether it's good times or bad times, stressful or easy. You have a purpose for our lives, and everything that we go through will make us better. We pray that the things that we do would bring you glory. And we pray for our nation, our president, our governments. We pray for wisdom for all of them, and that they would lead in a way that is good for all of us. Yeah. And we thank you for everything you do for us. And it's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Brenda.
Thank you, Tony.
All right. I'm going to let you go. But thank you for jumping on with me for a little bit. I will see you in a week for our Society of Plastic Engineers Mold Technology Division board meeting.
Yes. And hopefully in person the end of this year in Mermal.
Yeah, at the golf outing. I can't
Yeah.
wait for it.
We're gonna go. We're gonna be live.
I can't wait. All right. Bye, Brenda.
Bye-bye.
It's not letting me kick you out. It just likes you too much. All right, you might have to remove yourself. I don't know why it's not working. You know why? Because it would be too easy otherwise.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye, Brenda. All right, everybody. Thank you once again for watching the Manufacturing Alliance Chat and Chow. I love Brenda. I love having her on the show. Every time I see her, she just makes me smile, and that's a good thing to surround yourself with. So, I hope that you enjoyed the show. I hope that it brought a little bit of entertainment to you. I hope you learned something. I hope you found some value in it, and I hope you would pass it on to somebody else if you did. If you would like to be a part of the show, just send us an email to tony@alliancelasersales.com or put it in the chat and we'll find you, whether it's on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, whatever it is. We want to hear from you. We want to tell your story, and we want you to be part of what we're doing, and we want to help you grow. And so on behalf of myself and Brenda and the Alliance team and the Hasco team, thank you for watching. Take care and God bless.